Hello, hello. Happy Global Parents Day. Happy Pride. And welcome to the Global Center's first live stream. So excited to have you here. We'll just wait on a couple more people to come and join the live stream. It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month. So excited. Happy Pride Month. And happy Parents Day. So excited to have Kai, our COO, joining the call soon to chat more about Global Parents Day. Happy Pride Month, happy Global Parents Day. Excited to have you here. We're just waiting for Kai Thomas, our COO of the Global Center, to join our call to chat more about Global Parents Day today. Kai Thomas wants to be in the video. Check it out. Adding right now. Let's see. Kai Thomas.
Hello. Is that you, Cody?
Hello. How you doing?
So good. So excited for Pride. Happy Pride
Month. Oh my! I don't have my giant rainbow flag to unfurl in front of you.
I don't either, but I got a little flag here in the background.
Yay! Love.
Yes.
Love. That's awesome. Happy Pride. Happy Global Parents Day.
Yeah, celebrating parents today as well, as they are such an important part of queer youth and LGBTI youth life.
Totally. Yeah.
All right, so Cody, tell me a little bit about yourself. Quick intro to the folks out there that don't know us. I mean, we're very comfortable with ourselves, but
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Cody. I use all pronouns. I'm gender fluid. I am in Thailand. So, hello for people outside of Thailand. Hello, people within Thailand. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, and I'm a lecturer and researcher at Thammasat University. Boop. And founder and CEO of the Global Center.
awesome.
How about you, Kai?
My name is Kai. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the COO of the Global Center. I'm currently living in San Diego, and I work in gender equality and youth development spaces.
Yes, love. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Skyping coast to coast across the Pacific.
We're escaping across the Pacific, celebrating all that's in between and outside in between us.
Yeah.
All right, so Cody, because it's the Global Day of Parents and also the beginning of Pride, let's talk about how we can center and support parents with LGBTI plus youth and like how to recognize them as a stakeholder in creating freedom for LGBTI youth. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me about the Acceptance at Home Pack.
I'm so excited because I think parents and families, PFLAG started in 1973 in the States. And it started during Pride, during a Pride parade, 20 people in a basement of a Unitarian church, and has since grown to this large movement of parents and families and support networks, and exists, I think it's 43 different contexts around the world. But I think still there's this question of okay, my kid just came out to me. What do I do? Where do I go?
Right.
Because of that, we're not taught this. We're not taught about LGBTI plus topics in school. And it's really hard to hear. There's more media representation, but truly understanding these topics, I feel is still really missing. And so what we try to do is formulate all these different like resources, frequently asked questions, like a little library, um, basic terminology into one space so that parents can be like, oh, okay. Because something I hear often is like, okay, I went on Google and I searched, and then I just got more confused, and there's all this information, and in that kind of feeling, it's really hard to like parse out all the information in like a, okay, here's, let's walk through the process. It's okay. It's okay.
Absolutely. And also, not just my kid just came out to me. What if my kid comes out to me? Or what if my kid's friend is coming out to my kid, or coming out to me because I'm a supportive parent? Like, how do I approach this situation? So, not only responsive, but being proactive too, and being prepared for those conversations.
That's such a great point of like, it's not just parents, it's family, extended families, my cousin, my aunt, my
Mm-hmm.
uncle, my grandma, my this, my like, it's a
Yes.
whole network of people, right? And also my friends, like my friend is just said that they're non-binary. And so like, what does that mean? What do I do? How can I support them? And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that is so great. When will that resource be ready for the public?
This month.
Woo!
Excited. And plugging, like, also, I was on a team with Thomas at University, and today they released a pocketbook of it's Ford Peas project. So it's parents, partners, providers, and peers, and how all of these stakeholders can be supportive of LGBTI plus youth, specifically with health outcomes. And so this is in Thai context, so it's quite awesome in that respect too.
Yeah,
Excited for that.
absolutely. I think one thing that, you and I have talked about before is engaging all the stakeholders. Teachers are very important, and we have to work with teachers, but also we have to work with parents, family members, community members. It's really, we can't just train teachers and think that the world is going to be a safe space for LGBTI youth. We have to really work with all the stakeholders involved. And you just highlighted healthcare professionals, right? We have to work with everyone that's coming into contact with youth so they feel safe, so they feel affirmed, so they can find themselves and be free within themselves and within the world. So that's very, such valid and such important work that you're creating and putting together for parents and
Can I
family members.
can I ask you? So like you were talking about like youth empowerment spaces
Yeah.
and work you're doing. What is like what is it? What are some like awesome experiences you've seen? What does youth empowerment mean? Have there been those magic moments?
Oh gosh, this is hard. So yeah, I
Could
do a lot of
wow.
volunteering with queer youth, and magic moments. Just like I volunteer with the Camp Brave Trails, and being in those spaces that are so affirming for queer youth, where really any day the youth can wake up and we do a round of pronouns, and sometimes the youth are trying out new pronouns, and they try it out for a day and they're like, maybe this is me, maybe it's not me, and maybe the next day they come with a different set of pronouns to try out, and a new name too, because names are so affirming as well.
Yeah.
And those are the magic moments when they're exploring and they're figuring it out, and that they're in such a safe space where they can do that, where there's no judgment for playing with a new name, playing with new pronouns, that all the other kids and the counselors are really doing it too. And those are the magic moments when youth feel so safe that they can explore their identity and they're not afraid to be who they are and figure out who they are.
This is so powerful because as you were speaking, it sounded, the word that came up to me is like community-based approach. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is my academic phrasing, but like we think about like LGBTI plus community, right? Like our community, but like it takes a community of like affirming people like throughout this process. Like it takes a community.
It does indeed. A community, not only, I mean, for self-awareness, as an adult, I had to learn and or unlearn and then relearn about gender and sexuality so I could be a healthy leader for youth, which helped me become my true authentic self. And if I wasn't able to go through that experience, I wouldn't be able to work with, with queer youth at all, because for so long I was denying my own queerness in so many ways because of society. And so, there's your own self-awareness, and then there's like finding that community that lets you do that has that space to explore yourself and know who you truly are. So I think those are two key things, and that are absolutely necessary when working with youth.
Yeah. Like, those vulnerable but safe spaces.
Yeah.
So powerful. And similar, like, I just like last year came out as gender fluid, and like last month as non-binary, and I'm like, this is like, this is like liberating to be in spaces where, and then like talking with you and others on our call of like, shout out to Brenna, like, who has just like provide like people that are like, can I ask this question? I feel really weird and I'm gonna get it wrong, but like, is this right? Am I like, is this, am I, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, that's so powerful to just like know that like we don't have the answers, and that we can serve, I guess, as we can serve as like wisdom bearers or
Mm-hmm.
supported people in
Mm-hmm.
those spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I mean, you remind me, that reminds me of just like growing up, I was always a tomboy. There's never been a doubt that I've always been a tomboy. And so I've always acted and performed more masculine. And last month, my partner was like, let's go get our nails done. And I was like, that's just like, oh, that feels weird, right? That feels so weird. But I mean, my paint is falling off now and I need to go again. But I loved it. I mean, it was just like so liberating too. I mean, like, because nail polish is not a part of gender. It's like, it's not, this is for women. It's not, or this is for men. It's not like there has to be this binary world that we live within. And once you break down that label and just, you can be free and express yourself and explore yourself and just play, life becomes
Yes,
so much more liberating, so much
yes,
more free.
yes. You're giving me life. I was in the supermarket this whole month, and I'm like, I really want I want to try like I don't know, scarlet red,
Oh
like
my
this
God.
lipstick and then I'm like, oh, like, why am I not buying it? Am I being like nervous about expression? I'm like, no, I can't find the right color for my I haven't found that exact perfect like shade, which I'm like, that's an awesome problem.
Yes, it is. Did you find it yet? I mean, have you?
No.
Oh my
So
gosh.
shout out to anyone who wants to buy me a perfect shade of lipstick for Pride Month.
Yes. Send it to
Nail
Cody.
polish. Yeah. But it extends the space. The space extends for parents going through the process too.
Absolutely.
A phrase that I heard from her name is Kuo Mama in Taiwan. She leads loving parents of LGBT Taiwan. I think that's what it's called. But Kuo Mama was awesome, and she's like, she also said that like it felt like a bomb was dropping out of the sky, like that moment when the kid, like that big coming out moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's definitely a critical discourse about like overemphasizing coming out moments, but I think coming out's a big thing still. And like how to like, I don't know about you, but like I was like hypersensitive about coming out and every single thing that was said and like
Yeah,
the years processing and
absolutely. I'm getting really good at it now because I have to come out like every day, right? Because I'm like, hi, my pronouns are they, them. Getting so good at it now. But yes, that initial time, those initial first times are so overwhelming. Yeah, the world I want to live in is a world where you don't have to come out, right? How do we get there?
how do we get there? Yeah. Yeah. But I think I really do, drawing it back for Global Parents Day, like I do think for a lot of parents, it's important to have like space to chat and like it's unlearn, learn, relearn that
Yeah.
transformation process of like asking all like the stigma you're taught in school or like the lack of information or like and like basic questions like is it natural or unnatural? Is it like is it is it only a Western concept? Is it like why? Can I change it? Like
the
basics, you know, like
yeah, the hidden curriculum that exists and gives us
that's well said. Yeah.
what gives us our values. Because I mean, how many hours, how many years and how many hours do we spend in schools, and what is that hidden message that not only curriculum but that teachers and admin are giving us to believe about the world?
That's what it is. Now I want to add this to the report. It's the hidden curriculum. When you don't speak about people, like like it pathologizes them. It doesn't
Yes.
affirm, like it silences them. It like others creates an abnormality, like all these labels because you don't teach about it in curriculum.
Yeah, I mean, this is my challenge every day. Just when teachers or anyone just says, "All right, boys and girls," like the by saying girls and boys or boys and girls to that preserve, but like by saying that, who are you excluding? Like who are you leaving out? And by leaving them out, how are you silencing their identity? How are you silently saying that these people don't exist, right? So even language is so critical when we think about the smallest things. Ladies and gentlemen, when you approach or you speak to a large group, like if you pay attention to the word you're using, you'll often see that you may be leaving someone out by the language that you're using.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, it's just like we have to be so critical about the language that we use, and by not even focusing on the curriculum that we're sending in classrooms or like the role models that we're bringing into young people's lives. I think at the very base we need to examine our own language and how we create spaces for youth and how we deny spaces for youth
Yeah.
or exclude. Yeah.
I forget if it was Foucault or not, but it's like discourse and language creates meaning. It defines people, defines experiences. Language is the tool to how we like name and identify things.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
there isn't language to identify like your experience or what you're going through, you think you're not real or not valid.
Yes. Oh, that one got my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like thinking of like me on the farm in Muncie, Indiana. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still another thing I saw like the other day on I think it's someone running for Congress in the States is like Instagram added the pronoun
Thank
option.
God.
And yay, let's celebrate that.
So did LinkedIn. So if you're in the
LinkedIn,
US, check that and put that in your LinkedIn profile.
it was some, I was like, what? Not me in Thailand. And then I think it was like only Canada, UK, America, and Australia. And I'm like, I want pronouns.
Yeah.
But so interesting how tech giants define how people outside of those four countries are able to identify, right? And express
Yeah.
themselves.
Absolutely.
I wonder why they chose only those four countries.
I
But
mean, the
yeah,
involvement of government and within each corporation's business in each country. Yeah, so a friend told me about Grindr recently, about how you can put your pronouns and your identity on there now as well, or like it's been a couple of years, but he said in the beginning it was more like a lot of folks were like making fun of it and putting like jokes in there, but now
yeah,
there's really been an awareness and a growth around that people, I mean, not everywhere, right? And maybe it's only the profiles he's looking at, but he said there's definitely been like a growth mindset and awareness when it comes to that on Grindr,
yeah.
which is really
Feel
interesting.
like I remember seeing either pronouns or something, and I mean my data research hat on. I was like looking at pronouns, and people are like, "I like men," or like all these different things of like, that's not like sexuality, or like that's not even in this. That's not. So like, there's a lot of just like even within our community of like basic education about pronouns.
Yeah.
But I was so the congressperson or person running for Congress was like, um, it's like I am a white gay cis man. I'm proud of it. Why do I have to put pronouns and making a stance? And like I am proud to be a man. And I think my question leads to like, I feel like there's always been backlash, but now there's like a new like the backlash has evolved. I guess I've evolved alongside of the progress and evolution of the movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if like parents are how they're doing in like the really public like active backlash against like pronoun usage
Mm-hmm.
and like all these basic things.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna have a range, a spectrum of parents, and how they're taking in all this information, because there's become so much more of an awareness around the trans and non-binary, like gender diverse community. But you're exactly right. There's also been the same level of backlash. So yeah, how are parents, how are families internalizing this information, and how are they creating safe spaces or not creating safe spaces based on what they're hearing, what they're absorbing from the media, from the news outlets.
Yeah. I feel like something that, like on the negative side, not, I'm gonna go negative and then go positive. So like negative, like not having like a home that affirms you, parents that love you unconditionally, like, like all these sobering statistics, like on like just trying to get data on this experience of like suicidality, attempting suicide, of youth homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
There's like really interesting data. I think it's True Colors Foundation, United States. They just released one with like the European Union in that region of like homeless youth. And I think it's of the homeless population in the United States, like LGBTI youth homelessness, like 20 to 25% are LGBTI plus of
Yeah.
the entire homeless population. And it's just like such negative effects of like what that, can I say, bad parenting or like that lack of inclusion in the home. But then like also seeing like, oh my God, when a parent is like a loving parent that's like, I'm gonna fight for my kid, it's like, this
Mm-hmm.
is so like always crying for those moments.
Yeah.
Always crying. And
Absolutely.
shout out to Aruna in India. I love the work Aruna, and it's called Sweet Fire Rainbow Parents in India. Such amazing work. Such amazing work.
Yeah, we've got to work with the parents. So let's honor them on this Global Day of Parents and center them and make them part of the conversation. I think a lot of times parents don't feel like they're a part of the conversation. And we really need parents and family members to create the spaces for the youth so they can be free. So, let's honor them today. And this resource is coming to you soon, parents and family members. So if you ever want a dialogue, if you want, any access to other resources that we can share with you, we're always here for creating that space and conversation. What do you need? Like, let us know what you need, and we want to make it available for you.
Yeah. And for those of you that like are just watching a quick and you're like, I want to know what I can do today. I think three things, like support, education, and advocacy. So like support, like find your people, find your support group, ask questions openly, apologize when you're wrong, educate yourself. There's tons of stuff on the web. There's tons of books. There's tons of videos, and advocate. Like something really cool, like amidst this like really anti-trans youth legislation, so you have like parents going to town hall meetings and advocating against these policies. So heroic. And so support, educate, advocate. I feel like that's a great way to start the March of Pride Month.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Well, thank you, Cody. Thank you for this space and time. I'm so excited to celebrate Pride with you virtually, globally, and with everyone out there. I hope you all have an amazing Pride Month and happy Parents' Day.
Happy Parents' Day. Happy Pride, everyone.